Is it better to take a long road trip with your RV or without your RV? That's what we're answering today. We have gone to Kansas City from Phoenix, which is approximately 1,200 miles, several times. Most with Dorothy there behind me. But this last time with just our truck because we had issues with the RV. Welcome back to No Ordinary Path. I'm Kristen and this is Dorothy. She's our 44-foot toy hauler. We're a family of 5 who's been traveling full-time in our RV for the past 5 years, and tonight is our very last night as of recording. Our very last night out here in the desert in northern Phoenix. It is really hot and we will be moving to the house here pretty soon. We live a hybrid life between our home base here in Glendale, Arizona, and in our RV, and my husband is a travel nurse. He's been working in the Phoenix area, so we've been hopping between the house and the desert. And we had a choice to make. We had to decide whether this last trip to Kansas City we were going to take the RV with us or just take a vehicle and hotel it. In true Kristen fashion, I have made a list of RV versus just taking a vehicle and the pros and cons of each. Suffice it to say, we were pleasantly surprised by not taking the RV on this particular trip. Coyotes or a dog? I think that's a dog. So we'll just start with the obvious. The RV is just simply more comfortable when you're traveling a long distance. For us in the RV, we take it a little bit slower. We usually don't like to go more than 400 miles, 300 to 400 miles in a day. So we'll drive, we'll stop, we'll make our own dinner, we'll get to rest. Usually we'll save money in the RV by not having to pay for overnight stays. You take your own bathroom with you, which is really nice. You don't have to wait for rest areas, and we love that about traveling with the RV. We definitely missed it when we were trekking to Kansas City in just the truck, and we had, somebody has to go to the bathroom and then you have to search for that rest area. You can save a little bit of money by bringing your food with you, so you can have a whole bunch of snacks in there. I love that in the RV we get to just pull over and make lunches. We can either eat in the RV or I can run in there, make little sack lunches, bring them back into the car, and then we can eat like a to-go lunch, but something that I can throw together really easy. Whereas in the truck, we could have brought a cooler, we should have brought a cooler, but we didn't. So what we found is we were buying snacks every time we stopped, and that really added up. There are some cons to dragging an RV with us on a 1,200 mile trip to go visit family. It costs more money in fuel. The mileage for the truck when towing is about half of what it would be without towing. So if you think of it like that, then you can kind of figure that your fuel is double the cost simply by towing the RV with you. So there is a much bigger expense in fuel. You do have to go slower when you're towing the RV. You cannot go as fast, and you have to stop more frequently because of that fuel. You have to fuel up more often. So we found that places that we normally would stop to get fuel on the way to Kansas City with the rig, we were flying right past because we didn't need to stop without the rig. There is definitely more stress when towing the big rig behind us, so it is a little bit more stressful to take it with us. Another one, which is a huge deal right now, is that if you're in extreme temperatures, when you're parking overnight, if you're not in a mild area, you're gonna have to run that generator to be comfortable or just suffer through. So we hit snow in Albuquerque on the way to Kansas City, and had we stopped there with the rig, it might have been a very cold night because I'm pretty sure it was in the 20s. Now, conversely, right now here in Phoenix, today it got up to 96 degrees, and when we went and ran some errands, the inside of our trailer got to to 101 degrees inside. And without running that generator all the time, right now it's running, trying to cool down the inside of it, it would be absolutely miserable to stay in. The last con of taking an RV is that sometimes the nights are not that restful when you're just stopping overnight in an unfamiliar area. You don't know if it's a safe area. Every noise that happens outside, you're kind of like, ooh, what was that? What was that? And so it's not always the most restful nights. And especially if you're driving really long distances, that can be cumbersome because you want to make sure you get a good night's rest, because we were driving really long days. Okay, now on to not taking the RV. This is obviously how we traveled long before we ever had an RV, but it's been 5 years since we've taken a long road trip without Dorothy or without Wendy. And we were actually pleasantly surprised. There were quite a few pros of not taking the RV with us. It was faster. We didn't have to stop as often, and we were able to drive faster without having to tow the RV behind us. And that was really nice. That meant that there was less stress because we weren't towing the big rig behind us. We didn't have to worry about where we were gonna park. We got much better gas mileage, so we spent less money on fuel. That was kind of canceled out by the fact that we did have to get a hotel. But actually the hotel was sort of a benefit as well, because then we had nice showers. We were able to have an actual rest in the evening. We booked a hotel that had a pool in hopes that the kids would have a place to burn off all their energy. However, on the way to Kansas City, the hotel that we chose, we didn't arrive until 10:30 in the evening and the pool was already closed, which is a bummer. But on the way back in Amarillo, they had plenty of time to swim. And bonus, if you use an app like hotels.com, we're not sponsored or anything, but we have been using hotels.com for the last few years, and they have a punch card, and we had a free night stay. So on our way back from Kansas City, we didn't even have to pay for a hotel. It was absolutely free. It either washed out or was a little bit cheaper not to take the RV because of the fact that the gas price was halved. And even with the expense of the hotels, I think it was still cheaper not to take the RV with us. Since we had to stay in a hotel at night, we could adjust the temperature to our liking. In Albuquerque, it was really cold. In Amarillo, it was super windy outside. It would have been a little bit rough staying the night in the RV that night. And so the hotel was actually quite comfortable. And unlimited ice. My kids would say the best part of staying in a hotel is absolutely unlimited ice. And the free breakfast in the morning. Even if it's crummy, the fact that it's free for some reason just makes my kids so happy, and they love making those little hotel waffles. And finally, the cons of taking the truck and not the RV with us to Kansas City is that we did have to spend that money on a hotel, which would not be a cost if we had the RV with us. But like I said, everything else about staying in the hotel was kind of a pro. And as you know, we're a little bit tired of our RV right now, so the hotel was kind of a nice getaway. We had to make rest area stops. We couldn't just pull over and use our own bathroom. That was kind of annoying. And finally, we had family that we could stay with, but if you are going to a location where you don't have family to stay with, then it might be difficult to find a place to stay, or you'll have to spend extra money to stay in a hotel, and that could definitely sway whether you want to take the RV with you or not on that road trip. I know a lot of you that watch our channel are full-timers, but I know there's also a large group of people who watch our channel who are simply RVers. Maybe you're weekend RVers, or maybe you go for long vacations over school breaks throughout the year, or you go for a couple months at a time and you're part-time here and part-time there. So I hope that by kind of going over the differences between traveling a long distance with the RV versus without the RV might give you an idea on whether you should take your RV with you on your next long distance trip. For us, it's a toss-up. We could do either. We like traveling with the RV, but if we are on a time crunch, not having the RV with us does save us time, and so I think we made the right decision on this past trip. Also, it was leaking sewage, so there's that. Don't want to be leaking sewage on our family's property. We got to get that fixed. If you're watching this tonight on Tuesday, we are moving back into our house for a little while, so the next video that we have will come on Sunday, and we will be back inside the house bringing you some more content about what's going on in our journey. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you out there.